Hey guys, this is Kieran from Eccentric Physio, and this is a progression today for building hip flexion. So being able to get your knee closer to your chest. If that sounds like a movement that you've lost, maybe you're trying to be able to squat better or deadlift to some degree, or maybe you just want to be able to get down to the ground a bit easier, this will be a really useful exercise for you. So when we're developing our ability to walk, one of the things we do is crawling. And just before that, we get into a period where you kind of rock back and forth and you're on your hands and knees. And this enables you to start learning about where your hip is in space while you create stability through your torso. And it enables you to create mobility. And what this means is you can start to centrate your hip. Keeping it somewhat in the center means that you have something to balance over when you're standing on one leg. For people that miss this stage, or for those that have had injuries on one side of their body, they might find that there's an asymmetry or a difference side to side in their ability to balance. Or you might find that if you've had like a torso injury, or maybe you've just had, sprained ankles on both sides, you lose the ability to flex like this on both sides. So being able to get down into these positions here. So this is a nice regression, so an easier version of starting to develop that ability again. So what it looks like is hands and knees, and you can always see it looks like I'm sort of in the bottom of a squat position. Not quite, because my torso would be forward a bit more to keep balance so I don't fall backwards. But because we've got the ground, we've got 4 points of contact, I don't need those stability requirements. So while I'm here, you're going to try and put your back into a position that enables you to balance something on your back. I like something that's round, because if you have like a water bottle, it's only going to roll one way. If you have something that's solid, like a yoga block or a shoe, it's less likely to move, and so the feedback's different. Those things are useful for a different type of exercise, but for this, you want real-time feedback movement. So if I put this on my back, and this is a 6 kilo ball, you could just use a sports ball, anything that you can feel on your back. And so the position that it's in right now means it won't fall off. If I flex to my back too much, it falls off, okay? If I extended my back too much, it might feel like it stays on, but what it's gonna do when I go down is you'll probably find it falls off as well. So I'll show you what I mean. If I go down and it starts to roll down. Now I can feel that and I've got the control, but for some of you, you might find that actually rolls off your back. So what you're trying to do though, is find a bit, a range, that enables you to feel somewhat comfortable. And by somewhat comfortable, I just mean that your knees are comfortable, your wrists aren't sore. If your wrists are sore, fold up the end of the mat, let your fingers drape over, and you might find that that helps a little bit. Another cue to think about for the wrists is pushing the earth away from you, so don't sink down. And all you're trying to do is as you come back down into this hip flexion position, is keeping the ball from falling off your back. And I'm starting to build some hip flexion. Now something that I'm doing to help me keep this hip flexion is I'm actually squishing this area here. If my hand was there, I'm actively squishing it. I'm not just rocking back in a relaxed way. I'm pulling my thigh and my chest closer together by squishing this in here. But I'm not doing that by flexing my back. And so now I can start getting into these deeper hip flexed positions. And for a lot of you that have had maybe some impingement in front of the hip, you might find that this is a little bit sore at first. If it is, try breathing down into your belt line, a big breath down into this area, and then exhaling, and then breathing as you go down. By breathing in, you're going to create a little more stiffness in the belly, a little more stability, and then your hip's going to get a little more flexibility. Over time, you'll be able to develop more flexibility in these positions. Some of you may have some structural limitations like the shape of your socket. But for the most part, you should have some range that you can improve upon. So I'm getting down into full hip flexion, and I'm quite comfortable here. I'm also pushing through my hands to just give me a little more stability. And over time, you can just build an ability to be in and out without having to warm up. And what it's going to do is give you some of that hip flexion back so that you can be in these positions quite comfortably, up and down, or maybe you need to be down into here. But great stepping stone of an exercise. It's nice and unweighted, Most people can do it, but it's hidden exercise, getting up and down off the ground as well. So give this a go as an entry-level area to starting to build some more hip flexion. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.